we strongly encourage individuals when a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old was touched inappropriately to seek out professional counseling. The confusion in the girl's mind between the ages of 12 and 16, and again we're generalizing, is much more complex than the confusion in a boy's mind because of the issue of sexuality, because of the issue of basula, because of the issue of intimacy. It affects girls in a much different way than it affects boys, especially in the adolescent years. So to the question about an adolescent girl, we encourage those families, those parents, to really seek out some advice. That doesn't mean that the girl needs treatment. It doesn't mean that the girl needs therapy. She may benefit from it, but it is a good idea to seek out some professional counseling. On the question of the father that was asked, also a very difficult, complex question. What happens to the child? What happens to the relationship between the child and the parent, the child and the father, the other children in the home and the father, the relationship between husband and wife, the couple and the community, all very complicated issues. One of the ways that we advise a family to handle this is for the protection of the family, and so that the case does not have to become reportable to authorities, which is a whole separate conversation. We strongly advise and sometimes make a statement: the father needs to leave the house, period. It's not a negotiable issue. For the benefit of the children, for the emotional well-being of the children, and for the physical protection of the children. So the father leaves the house. He stays in the neighborhood. He has a job. He continues to participate under watchful supervision. And this is where the community protection plan comes in. And this is where the support of a bond can come in. And this is where the support of community leaders can come in. It's not such a simple statement to say that the father simply disappears. You still have a bond between a 6-year-old and a parent, even the parent that hurt the child. It's not a simple issue. It has to be addressed in a process. The father can't simply disappear. So there has to be an environment in which this can be worked out. Sometimes it can be worked out and managed and treated through a process. It may take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and sometimes the relationship has to be severed immediately. As David said, it depends. On the question about the friend's father, once again, a very complicated issue. So, we can almost begin any one of these questions by saying it's a complicated issue. Pick your city, pick your community, in any community that you want in this country, and the circumstance has occurred. I'm not saying that there's been an increased incidence. I'm saying that because of evenings like this, more people have come out to discuss, and more people have come out to report. So what do? You can't stop your children from being friends with that 12-year-old who she's been friends with for the past 4 years. So you'll ask yourself a question: should my daughter go on an overnight? What do I do about a bat mitzvah? What do I do about inviting this family to my Shabbos table? So you may seek some counsel. You may go, and without putting anyone in particular on the spot, you may go and seek a confidential conversation with the Rav of Yishul, with the Rav of the community. You know, I have a shiloh basa b'cholov. I have a shiloh on this. It's an equally complicated shiloh. I'm not sure what to do. Rav, I'm asking you to help me out. I'm asking you to help to ask some questions very quietly, very discreetly. I can ask my daughter some questions, but we discourage people from becoming a detective. Don't start looking, as David said, for shadows where they may not exist. Kids are much more sophisticated than we believe they are.
Kids are much smarter than we understand them to be. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And if you say something and you're not sure what you're saying, and they'll pick up on it, you may scare them from speaking to you about something again. So if you think your child's friend's father has a problem, begin by asking yourself, how would you deal with the situation if your child's friend's mother thought about my family in that same circumstance? How would I deal with it if the shoe was on the other foot? And then I would begin asking questions in that way. In other words, make sure that you know where you're going with this. Because a false allegation, a bad word, in a community, no matter how small or how large, spreads like wildfire. And we've worked in this area for a number of years, and we've unfortunately worked with a significant number of offenders in our community, and you want to be sure that you're doing the right thing. And once you have information, you want to get it checked out. But if you're dealing with a half a fact, if you're dealing with a half a sentence, don't. Maybe go to a Rav and ask him to deal with it. And if you're going to the principal, make sure that you're talking to someone who maintains confidentiality. If you think someone cannot maintain your confidence, please don't have the conversation with that individual. It's simply not fair to the person that you're asking about that you can't take back those words. So there are many different ways to check things out. You know, we have this incredible capacity to check out shidduchim the world over. And sometimes, you'll forgive me, we ask not such significantly important questions. On shidduchim, forgive me. On situations like this, there are ways to ask 2 or 3 important questions, and we only have to ask 2 or 3 important questions to one well-placed person. We don't have to go about town. We don't have to search too many individuals. So that's some ways to check out if you're concerned, if I'm concerned, that my daughter's friend's father.
What about calling child protection and having them?
So, I'm sorry. We hope that the information has been useful. We always like to say that if only one individual was helped with one piece of information, the entire evening was worthwhile. Do I have them?